1,000. But shall we look at today's political stories? What's going on in the world of politics? Joining me now is Lettice Bromovsky, political commentator. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
We're going to start with another Tory MP standing down as MP.
Yeah.
What is going on, and who is this MP that stood down?
So Sajid Javid has announced that he will be standing down from his seat. I think that this obviously speaks to the wider issue going on at the moment within the Conservative Party, people stepping down, essentially the loss of confidence in the government to be able to win the next election. But I also think it needs to be considered that Sajid Javid has had a very successful, very eventful career. He's had about 5 positions in the cabinet.
Gosh, is it 5?
It's something like that. I believe it's 5. Yeah, he's been the Home Secretary, Health Secretary, Chancellor of the Exchequer. Like, he has had a very successful time. Also been eventful. Let's not forget this summer, he was a key part of the downfall of Boris Johnson.
He was
when
the first cabinet minister. He was before Rishi. I don't know. Everyone goes for Rishi, but it was Sajid to kick things off, right?
In unison together there. And I think that a lot of that must be quite exhausting. He's 52. If they do lose the next election, it's saying in the Times today, you know, this is the start of the exodus. But
wait a minute, he's exhausted. Didn't he want to be Prime Minister a couple of days ago?
Oh, well, yeah, obviously. But I think he's come to the realisation that that's probably not going to happen in his lifetime.
Yeah.
So realistically, stepping down now, when he's had all of this success, is just the right time for him.
So listen, you're going to have to bring me up to date. So, you know, I went through a bit of a loss, so I haven't been staying across everything in the world of politics for the last couple of weeks. But, you know, I'll be reading stuff in the background, looking at some of the headlines. And where are we now in terms of the Tory MPs who've stood down? I know Chloe Smith stood down.
So the major ones, the ones that I think are significant, especially as like a young person, the ones that have been deemed the future of politics.
Then he just, like, you know, became MP a couple of years ago, right?
Exactly. So one of the main significant ones is Deanna Davidson. She's young. She was one of the Red Wallers, a real up-and-comer. And she stepped down. And everyone was saying, had a very bright future. Again, Chloe Smith, another young person who was in the cabinet and has done so well. And yet they're stepping back from political life. And these are where we're seeing the losses, these young, ambitious people who no longer think it's worth their time. And people are going out and being like, we're going to lose. And the thought of being in opposition for what the Times was saying today for about 10 years, it's just too long and it's not attractive to them anymore.
Really? So do we understand this to be true, that there's a real concern over basically Tory party members, MPs, don't have faith in their own party? So what does that say to the rest of us?
Well, exactly. And that's sort of exactly what we're saying. If we've got these MPs stepping down now, the Conservative Party gave them a deadline of Monday, really, to say whether they'll stand or not. And we've got people like Boris Johnson who are going to stand, which is not good for Rishi Sunak, considering that they are... I mean, Boris Johnson will definitely be looking for a way back into politics. He always is, we know that. But he also sees Rishi Sunak as the person who brought him down, as we were saying earlier, the person fighting against him. So it's not a good look for Rishi Sunak as who's staying and who's going.
No, it really isn't. Although he doesn't have to worry about one Tory MP, because it looks like he ain't going anywhere. At least he didn't say he was going to go anywhere before he went in the jungle. He's out. Still hasn't said he's going to go anywhere. But what he is doing is talking about his new book. Okay, so this is on the front cover of the Daily Mail, actually. Let me just pick it up. They're saying whether you're a fan or foe, everyone who lived through COVID must read Matt Hancock's Pandemic Diaries.
God.
I don't know. Is my guy going to make money out of his experience as health secretary during this once-in-a-lifetime horrific part of our history? This is what he's doing.
And I mean, I feel like I'm almost in two minds over this. So it's sort of like, for history, when we look back on this, we do want to get that inside look at the health secretary of the time during the unprecedented pandemic. Like, it's important for us to have that back window view into it. However, this book is very clearly turning into a sort of shifting the blame, sort of not my fault kind of thing.
I did read a little bit of the realisation. No, I'm not happy.
And all of those things, he's portraying himself as very much someone who I was aware of the crisis early on. I was telling Boris it was going to be a big deal. I was talking to the head of the WHO, which is fair enough. If anyone's making a biography, they're going to try and shine a light on how they were trying to do all the right things. But I think that it's just not a great look at this time.
So in it, don't have to buy it, I'll tell you what's in it. Some of it, he's blaming the care staff for going into work and infecting them. Not because he sent people out to hospital and sent them to the care homes. No. It was the staff that looks after these. So he wants family members to go for them instead of him. And then also talking about the affair that cost him his job, his marriage. Well, I say cost him his marriage. He decided to leave the marriage to be with Gina. You know, he says, I don't seek forgiveness for falling in love with Gina because I love her deeply. Can you not muster the S word, Mr. Hancock? Can you not just say, I am sorry?
I know.
How about that? A little bit of regret, understanding pain you cause people.
No, exactly. And having this book out is going to rehash all of these bad feelings that people have, all this resentment. But I think another thing that makes it very clear that he is going to step away from politics is he's not afraid of naming names. He's outing people in this book for where they were, what they were doing. One particular example was Mark Sedwell, who was in the cabinet at the time, and he outs him as saying that he actually cancelled one of those early Cobra meetings that were trying to organise and get things done, and he was cancelling it. Obviously, Dominic Cummings also comes off very poorly in the book.
What does he say about Dominic Cummings? Because Dominic Cummings didn't like him much.
Well, they obviously, had their clashes. And something that's going to come from it is that they will, I think there'll be other narratives that start to come out, like from people like Dominic Cummings or Boris Johnson. And I imagine we're going to get many more of these kind of stories coming out about who did what and the blame game going around.
So do you think he'll step down eventually then? Do you think he'll step down as MP?
I think, he's done I'm a Celeb, he's done the SAS, a TV show. I think this book and his outing people is a sign that I think he's done with politics.
And also Rishi Sunak throwing him shade when he was first announced as Prime Minister and walking to the Tory... I don't know if you remember that when Rishi Sunak was walking into, was it Tory party headquarters, and there were MPs standing out there clapping, shaking hands. He literally just walked past Matt Hancock.
So all of that.
I think that's a sign. Lettice, always good talking to you. Thank you so much.